This is what if Goku turned Super Saiyan against Raditz. Now, no matter how you want to slice it, Raditz could go into his Ozaru form and still be only half as strong as Goku would be in Super Saiyan, with a power level of 416 times 50, making him to a power level of 20,800, while Raditz would be at a mere 12,000. As 1200 is his base power level, so 12,000 is what he's stuck with. Yeah, he gets whooped pretty bad. Though he doesn't get killed, Goku doesn't let him die, saying, "Listen up, I won't want you to die." As Krillin would show up right before he's about to pass out, Goku yelling for a senzu bean, giving one to his brother. Though he knows that the Super Saiyan form took a lot out of him, as he went down, getting a senzu bean as well, getting a power spike that would make even, the ones they got on Namek be surprised. That's just that high, going from a power level of 416 to around 1,000. To about 1,000. As they both wake up with Raz now having a power level of 1,500, saying, "Wow, even after that bad of a beating, I only got a 300 increase. Not surprised. Well, at least I'm not dead. Did they leave me for dead and I didn't die? Or whoa, wait, I'm fully healed. How am I not dead?" This is when Goku said, "Oh, you're finally awake. Yeah, you passed out pretty bad there, man." Saying, What are you doing here?" Getting into a battle stance, saying, as he put his hands down, "It'd be useless if I tried. So tell me, you're the legendary Super Saiyan. Why? What do you mean, why? Why? Why did this have to happen?" "Well, you attacked my home." "I know that, but why did we have to fight, even if it was on me?" Them having a little brotherly heart-to-heart, this is when Rad said, "I need to teach you about Saiyans, don't I?" This is when he said, "Alright, come on." And he actually got told something by a scouter whenever he woke up. Right then, as he puts it on out of habit, this is when Vegeta said, "Enough. Listen, you pathetic excuse for a Saiyan. No one is a Super Saiyan except for me, the Prince of all Saiyans." This is when Rad said, "What are you talking about? I don't care how powerful your brother is. He whooped you. I'm the only Super Saiyan. Yada yada yada." Vegeta's simple pride not letting him believe that another person could be a Super Saiyan. This is when Goku said, "Whatever." This is when he would say, "We'll be on Earth in 1 year to get rid of you and your puny brother." Hearing this, Goku said, "Whatever." As he took that scouter and said, "Why do you even use this thing?" As he crushed it in his hand. Bulma saying, "How could you?" Them both turning their heads saying, "I came here to bring you soup and take the parts off that scouter so I can get more technology. Why'd you break it?" And they could listen in on us. Alright. As she took it, messed with it, made it work again, and then turned off the microphone, saying, "That's all you had to do was turn off the microphone." Fair. This is when he's like, well, as Raz would take it off, saying, "Here." As after she gave it back, he said, "Here, take it. I have no use for it." Apparently he's going to teach me how to sense ki or whatever. Seems useful. Let's go. This is when Goku would simply crack his neck, saying, "Alright, and you're going to train with me so we can both get as powerful as possible." Although Raditz would start training, and after about a week, though they did warn everyone else about the whole thing, who went up there to train with Kami. And when they were done training with Kami, they were actually a little bit surprised. They were not strong enough for this, even though they've just done a month of Kami training. They noted that their power levels only about doubled from what they were. They will need to get stronger still. Them having a set goal of around 1,500. This is when Raditz would say, "That's stupid. Why would you only have a goal of my power level right now?" Well, I mean, you did get stronger after you got hurt, so we figured just aiming for that would be good. People coming at us are power level of 4,000, power level of 18,000. We're dead if that's all the power you're gonna have. Alright? As Goku, who hasn't been able to go in this form ever since. He's been training, but can't go into it. The most he's ever done is powered up and got a little bit of lightning hitting the ground, and his hair spiking back up into it once, but it didn't go golden like it did before. Just someone said maybe it was just a fluke and you'll need to train to get stronger to use it. Hearing this, Goku would say, "You're right, let's train." As they've done a good bit of training, though, at this point he can only go into the golden paired form for around 10 seconds before hitting the ground. Saying, "I guess it may have been a fluke." This is when Rad says, "Look, we know you can go back into it now. That's all we need to know." This is when they're like, "Is there any way to train faster?" And this is when Goku said the hyperbolic time chamber, stating that, and then going in there himself, thinking, "Alright, we've got 4 months to do this." Alright. Over those 4 months, Goku went leaps and bounds. His power level spiking up to around 4,000, and making it where he was already as strong as Nappa without even powering up into Super Saiyan. Thinking they could probably defeat them, but noting if the Great Ozaru form of Vegeta would have happened, it'd be a difficult fight. At 180,000, that'd be a fight that even a Super Saiyan Goku would struggle with, being that his power level would be higher. He would be a 200,000 power level, which would still be stronger, but it would not be an easy fight. While it was an all-power form, its speed wasn't exactly slow. It could still keep up a little bit. Though Goku knew that if he did have to go to it, it would be doable. But if Nappa was to go in it as well, it'd be difficult to do. Noting that Raditz wouldn't really be able to stop Nappa. But then he thinks, that's it. As Raditz would go back in there, he's told you shouldn't go alone. But Raditz saying, "I don't care," going in there for 8 months. Then proceeding to walk out, cracking his neck saying, "Alright, I'm back." His power level spiking up to a point where they weren't expecting, and Goku even winning up a little bit, saying, "You actually got stronger since I last saw you?" Yes. Though not really being as powerful as he expected. Goku's training basically consists of having everyone fighting him in a, multiple people as a kind of, 4-on-1. And once he was done with that, he would actually get a senzu bean. This would turn his power level from 4,000 to a good 5,000. As he said, this should be more than enough. Then he thinks, would it be enough? Getting a suggestion to go train with Kami, Kami then giving them the suggestion to go train with someone stronger, and this is when Gohan would be actually asked to train. Chi-Chi starting to say no, but then saying, well, if it's needed, sure. And while Gohan in canon did want to be a scholar, he actually wants to stay fighting as well. He wants to be learning how to fight. This would turn a really shocked group of warriors saying, alright, let's go. First, you'll have to train with an old master. But we don't really have time for that, so... Roshi actually climbing up there with them saying, I know. Y'all train, I'll get him in shape. Roshi then doing training with him on how to actually fight, how to hit things, how to learn how to use the martial arts of the turtle style, and even how to use the famous Kamehameha. This is when Roshi would comment, kid may as well be Goku, or even stronger. this is when, after around the year has passed, and Goku gets back with Raditz in the same condition that Goku was in canon, wouldn't their power level be slightly stronger thanks to having better training? And if you're wondering what I mean by better training, they're trying to train to get stronger than they were in canon. They were just trying to get to over that 1,000 mark, while in this version they're trying to get up to, a Goku power level, who was like in Super Saiyan at that point. Like, they're trying to get up to that 20,000 power that he had then. So their power levels aren't weak. And they're told they can either aim for 4,000 or they can aim for 18,000. That should be what they're aiming for. Them all saying, no, we're aiming for 20,000. All getting to the point where they're actually at 20,000. Still not nowhere near as strong as Goku now. That was actually impressive, though, back then. This is when Piccolo noted that he actually has a power-up form, which was a 10 times multiplied form. Saying this actually surprises them a little bit, saying, really? What's your power-up form like? I just get bigger. This is when Raditz would say, same, but I really probably won't use it that often. Same. As they would actually become more rivals than expected. While Raditz is slightly stronger, he could never figure out Kaioken. He was able to figure it out, but he was struggling to try to use it. He could only ever go to Kaioken times 1, or even actually going over to Kaioken times 3 once. And that put him on his ass, so he's not planning on going into that anytime soon. Now, he would even actually choose to cut off his tail over this time, saying it wasn't really helping him at all, and they didn't need to just go grade ape at any point. Him having a power level now closer to 20,000 though, so yeah. The Saiyans would arrive. The first thing that happened is Goku powers up into Super Saiyan once he arrives, saying, Raditz, get them all out of here. Cracking his neck. While they did do better than in canon, this made it where Vegeta actually stepped in and right off the bat just killed Piccolo. This is when a basically dying Krillin would say, ha, ha, ha. You came here for the Dragon Boss. You just killed the person you need to make them work. You stupid idiots. As he's about to get killed by a very, very pissed off Nappa because they wouldn't get their wish. His leg gets ripped off. Looking down, he's like, what the fuck? Seeing the boy he used to literally beat the crap out of for fun, standing there with with Nappa's leg in his hand, saying, oh, you want this back? Throwing it right in Nappa's face. Nappa saying, ow! And this is something that actually would surprise him a little bit, as he would put it on his leg. This is when Goku would say something unexpected. He went too far. Throwing a sense beam at Nappa, saying, eat it, with your leg close to where it was. Putting his leg, holding it where it was, eating the sense beam, it actually healed itself up. Nappa saying, ha ha ha, now I'll beat the crap out of you, Raditz, just for him to get beaten to a bloody hell, not getting killed by Vegeta, as Vegeta is busy having to get the crap beaten out of him by Goku, as they were actually both left to the brink of death. This is when Goku said, now leave, kicking Vegeta into his pod. And Nappa would actually say, this isn't over, coughing out blood, as this is when Raditz would actually reel up a kick and kick him clean into his pod, completely making him pass out. As their pods turn on the life support method, flying them over to the nearest, Frieza-owned planet, they get there, go into the healing pod, and their power levels spike, getting Vegeta power level of 24,000, and Nappa, luckily for him, a power level of actually 17, getting a power level of a good around 8,000, saying, wow, we're stronger than. Noting that his power level actually doubled after getting the living crap beaten out of him, saying, what would happen if that happened again to me? Maybe I'd become almost as strong as Vegeta. Considering letting himself get the crap beaten out of him one more time, just to get healed again, thinking, maybe just this one. Thinking about it, but saying no. They would go to planet, they would go to Namek, knowing that's where those things were from, saying, alright, we just have to avoid killing that one that makes the Dragon Balls. But there's a full planet of them, so at least one of them will make us Dragon Balls. Them not knowing that there was a Kami kind of link between the two, though there isn't any links like that on Namek, so whatever. And this is when, out of nowhere, the most surprising thing would happen. While Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma would still take the first ship, this is when a slight difference happens. They had to make a little extra adjustments, throwing a second bed in there, and basically quadrupling the amount of food they'd need, since there'd be a lot more physical training going on in this ship. Whenever they were done, they had a literal Saiyan giant variation, though, so it could actually work for a house as well. Them training at full force, just for the most surprising thing to have happened. A Goku that wasn't expecting it got hit with a giant beam attack. Said giant beam attack almost kills him, but not strong enough to. As Goku would say, as he walks in to the fight with his brother being able to easily take on the Ginyu Force. Either one of them could basically kill Captain Ginyu in an instant. Like I said, guys, either of them could just kill Captain Ginyu, but they were actually kind of switching between. Captain Ginyu tried taking over one of their bodies just for, out of all people, Vegeta to grab a frog saying, yeah, throwing it right in the way. After, the same fight would ensue. Goku, though Captain Ginyu couldn't go Super Saiyan, he was still a force to be reckoned with, but he wasn't expecting that Nappa could actually keep up on an even scale with Goku. So he just had multiple Saiyans beating the living crap out of him. Goku, who can easily go into Super Saiyan at will at this point, saying, whatever. Whenever he got his body back, he would still need to get healed. And when he got healed, it was a lot different. Everyone was fighting against Frieza, but slight difference, Goku's actually developed a brotherly bond with Raditz. And this is when an unexpected event would happen. Unlike in canon, whenever Goku got there and Krillin died, unlike that, instead of Krillin dying, being the catalyst, he sees two people die. Both Raditz and Krillin are completely ripped apart. And this actually surprises them very badly. Seeing this, they're like, oh shit. Now this did make it where these beaten and bloodied versions of them, even Vegeta is even killed, so yeah. Goku goes into it, though it wasn't a catalyst in this version. It was a berserking state, almost unlocking a Super Saiyan 2, but easily unlocking an enraged Ozaru. His Ozaru form coming out, his eyes going more ape-like, as he had zero control, having a 10 times multiplier, then additional to his, then 50 times multiplier, making it where Frieza was like, oh shit, just getting beaten to all hell. Frieza would then say, we're not that different. Just get his neck grabbed, saying, yes we are. Right when Goku's about to break his neck, saying, there. Now, I've given you enough power to leave, stop your evil ways. Frieza, thinking this basically sets him good, saying, I promise I will change my evil ways, yada yada yada. Just for him to actually take the power Goku gave him, try killing Goku, for Goku to say no, and then slap it out of his way, going right back into Super Saiyan, and then sending Frieza on into the ground. Though in this version, when Frieza becomes Mecha Frieza and goes to Earth after a year, he said, wow. Though Goku would appear saying, you're not strong enough yet. Slightly confusing the stronger Saiyan. Back to the video, Goku is utterly destroyed Frieza, and then future Trunks would arrive, but this version looking a little bit different. Him having, though visible sigh of sorrow in his eyes, saying, hello. As in this version, he actually had 2 masters. There was obviously Gohan, but there was also the saddest of the events. His not quite master, but someone who trained alongside of him. What, kitty cat? The man who basically helped him get stronger. The second Super Saiyan, second child to turn Super Saiyan, which was actually Raditz's daughter, with, in this version saying, who was actually kind of a love interest for Trunks, as they kind of really got along and actually almost hooked up once, just for her to go out trying to fight them as well with Trunks. Though when this happened, while Trunks wound up turning Super Saiyan and going to fight them one more time, getting these literal shit beaten out of him, she jumped in and actually kicked 18 right in the jaw, just for 18 to kill her with one snap. This unlocking an even rager strong that almost killed 18, but was sadly stopped by, of all people, while 17 did have to stop this. He said, I don't know where you got the power, kid, but I've never seen someone do that. Saying this would actually surprise everyone, surprise 18, saying, holy crap. Her noting that she didn't feel very great. She actually felt she almost got ripped apart. Thanking her brother, then about to kill him, just for him to say, going in his eyes right, his hands over his head, saying, solar flare! Grabbing his, basically girlfriend's body and flying away at top speeds, having to escape. Them saying, we'll find him one day. But then he would still do the whole thing with training, and he gets served. And he does something no one expected. He simply would say, there's no way to beat me. With that surprising everyone, they turned their heads saying, as he wanted to fight Goku, the original Super Saiyan, who was actually able to actually put hands on him. While at this point, Gohan's at the edge of unlocking Super Saiyan, as he said, so that's what my master was. He would come back in 3 years, everything would go as canon, basically at that point, as Super Saiyan was kind of already known. But Goku at this point, who's basically had to stay in it, has figured out how to somewhat master it. He said you have to just stay in it. Vegeta at this point, who has Super Saiyan, saying, alright. At this point, and now, a little baby Trunks is there, but a 1-year-old little girl is there as well. It is, I'm not sure to give a name, so I'm just gonna say Reen, just off the fact it kind of symbolizes, I don't know, I just came up with a name, so let's just go with Reen. Because I couldn't really figure out a name. Reen is the only child of Raditz. So far, at least. In this version, though Vegeta was able to hold them down with the Super Saiyan form, Raditz joining in actually made it where it was closer of a fight. But in the end, he would actually die as the last one to fall. While Vegeta went down right before him, he said, "Damn robots," spitting on the ground, a little bit of blood out, saying, "Listen, kids, it's time you get out to fight so the adults can go down full force." Hearing this, everyone turned their heads, hearing this, Gohan would actually turn his head, saying, "No, we can't leave you, man. Come on, we can beat them. You don't even have Super Saiyan. Get out of here. You'll die if you keep this up, and you'll die if you stay. Get out." Them saying, "We don't plan on letting either of you leave this alive." This is when, out of nowhere, he said, "Well, I don't plan on giving you a choice." And this is when the final words to his nephew being, "Take care of my daughter. Make sure she eventually goes to a good man. Nothing like her father was." As he completely tackled, like doing a flying spear tackle, grabbing right onto 18 and 17, gripping with everything he had in his body, even grabbing his other arm, even grabbing his arms, saying, You're not going to chase him down." And then he yelled, "Do it!" Gohan yelling solar flare, this actually blinding Raditz as well as he's holding them down. They can't do anything. They just keep swinging at it, but it's not doing anything. At one point, it actually does seem to hurt them, as actually they are seeming a little bit hurt, but this is when, out of nowhere, he would get chopped clean in two by 17, ripping his hand through the waist of Raditz. Raditz saying, "Double Sunday!" as his final move, as his throat was snapped. Though he was at least able to hurt them, which actually was the worst injury they ever sustained. Until Gohan, who has been doing nothing but training, which actually, whenever his uncle died, unlocked Super Saiyan for him. Like, unlocked full force Super Saiyan. This allowing him to go Super Saiyan would actually keep him at a level that was more impressive. Though it being sad that that's what it took to actually make him unlock Super Saiyan, it was kind of not crazy. While that did help him very much unlock Super Saiyan, he had to master it on his own. Though his father did teach him the way of doing it when he was a little kid. If he ever unlocked Super Saiyan, what you need to do is stay in it. Though, when Gohan tried following this advice, it put him on his ass the first few days. At Capsule Corp is where, Rio would sleep. She would actually have already became, kind of a love interest, with Mai actually not really being much of a thing, but that wouldn't be a big deal. Now, being that Ria is just like a single day older, like a single year older than Trunks, this will put her in the kids division, so whatever. Basically that saga would go all the way identical until having to deal with, Cell. Gohan would still have to be the one to take him out with the highest potential and actually injured him. He would take him out the same way, with his father being in vain. Goku, this is when Raditz would actually try talking to him, saying, "Listen, Goku, you being here or you not being here won't change a damn thing. There's still going to be threats to the Earth. This is still a pretty high target right now." "What do you mean?" "You think the Frieza Force came here because of you? Hell no. You were on the list to take over this world before that. You were one of the threats to it. True, but you also were the thing that stopped so many of them. Think about how many people would have died if you weren't here. Hearing this, thinking, I still just can't go back. Y'all have to take care of it from now on. As this is when Raditz would ball his fist saying, damn it! Fine. I'll take care of your son. But if something happens, I want you to be able to come back. This is when Goku said, if something bad enough happens, y'all have the Dragon Balls. Y'all can revive me then. Alright. They would basically go through these years of training, which Gohan still somewhat kept up his training, but he mainly focused on being a scholar, while Goku was still a fight that both Vegeta and Raditz would both want to get a fight with Goku, though they did settle for sparring with each other, but it wasn't the same. And they know that Gohan's fighting with them was somewhat closer, but not quite it. There was something about that orange gi wearing doofus that made them want to have him as a rival. This is when 7 years would pass. Gohan would actually be the one to have so far been able to slightly train. And Trunks had basically developed a little bit of feelings for... Trunks has developed feelings for the angry of the Saiyan 3 children. Though Gohan, being the strongest, saying, I kind of treat her like my own little sister. Though being 2 years old and my own little brother makes it funny. As Goten doesn't ever want to be looked down upon by the other two, as they always laugh by him being the weakest of them. This enrages him, enough to where he goes Super Saiyan before any of them do. And his base actually becomes even stronger, actually still a little bit weaker than theirs, as he actually laughs in their face saying, what, y'all can't do it? Ha 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 ha. Them both actually smiling saying, yes we can, powering into Super Saiyan. Goten being a little bit pissed off by this, strengthening his base to where he can actually put hands on Gohan in Super Saiyan. Though Gohan has stayed where he can go into Super Saiyan 2, so this doesn't really change anything. He can't beat Gohan in Super Saiyan even. He can hurt him, but not beat him. He can come close to beating him though. At his best, he can actually injure him. But that's about it. Now, we will have to target the simple fact that while this version of Gohan is slightly stronger, this Buu Saga really won't change. One other Saiyan I don't think is going to change it very, very much at all. So I'm just going to say nothing would change. Now, even though nothing would change, there would still be a little bit more surprise of strength. Now, by that I mean, while they were stronger, they weren't strong enough. And I do mean not quite there. Now, this would lead to a whole different, series. While Goku is the only one to have locked Super Saiyan 3, Gohan's actually the closest to unlocking it as well. Though he notes that if he did, he probably wouldn't use it very often. Goku actually needed to be revived, still get revived by the Elder Kai, all that would go as canon, and dealing with Buu would kind of just stay the same. Now, this would make it where the last fight would be, then they have to deal with Beerus. Now, I don't care who you are, what you think you're going to say, an already trained in Super Saiyan Goku wouldn't be able to do jack shit against Beerus. Yes, he's basically Master Super Saiyan 3. And he's actually far stronger than he was in canon. But he's still nothing to Beerus. I've heard people say he was only using like 5 to 15 to 10 actually, whenever he was fighting a Super Saiyan God. Although Goku was still holding back himself, we do have to admit, it was probably where Goku was going around like 90%. So yeah. Now, in this version we have to go with a full-on Berserker. And by Berserker, I do mean Berserk. This would, by that definition, he would go completely loose. They are fighting on a whole other level. Goku, being the only one, being the original Super Saiyan, has a little bit easier time learning other forms. When he got Super Saiyan God, he actually was able to put Beerus to around 20%. When he unlocked, because instead of this version using a little kid, like not even a born baby, it was more than enough. But this did make it where Vegeta and Raditz said, with Nappa there as well, do you think they'll need another one? Them saying he might, as they actually all recharge real quick and put Vegeta into Super Saiyan God. A Super Saiyan God Vegeta would actually surprise them a little bit as he goes to charge forward, then saying, damn it, we need another one. Even 2-on-1, this isn't going anywhere near as well. This is when, out of everyone, Videl would say what about her being pregnant and the other little girl after they turn, Raditz Super Saiyan. This is when Gohan would say, alright, as he turns Super Saiyan God as well, just making it a 4-on-1, actually all of them being able to hurt. Though Gohan being the weakest of the gods, because he actually has the weakest amount of people helping him power up, he's doing somewhat better than expected. Because he's still the strongest without any power-ups, because he did already have the ultimate form, which surpassed everyone. His base even being slightly stronger than everyone else, so Super Saiyan God wouldn't quite be there, but it would be there enough. At this point, we see that Beerus actually surprised that they're able to do it so many times, making it where there was 4 Super Saiyan Gods to fight him. Then thinking, what if there were more? Whatever. At this point, they kind of see something they weren't expecting. Two Super Saiyan 2s would fuse. Goten and Trunks fusing into their Gotenks form, which actually has Super Saiyan 3 hair, which I know they already had tried this. This is when it would go up and say, hey, looking to, of all people, Nappa, who fusing with Nappa doing the fusion dance as well, only made them so much stronger. Like, it made it where they could keep up and actually go into Super Saiyan. Like, they were still in Super Saiyan 3, but their strength skyrocketed. While they actually couldn't fuse with Nappa, they actually would lower their strength enough. Actually, not lower. They would actually use this power up and actually being given the full force of everyone else's ki that's there, and throw one big attack, which actually overwhelmed Beerus a little bit, saying, oh, so there was enough energy left in you to make this such a strong attack. Just not enough to kill me. As he throws the same Hakai, just for another one of these giant attacks to get thrown, and a 4-team blast. 2 Kamehamehas, a Big Bang, and a Double Sunday, all hitting this giant attack with one of the strongest Kamehamehas backing it up, sending this Hakai out. As this is when Beerus said, alright, you weren't able to win, but you were able to surprise me. Here. Giving them just a little bit of power. Not enough to make them, not enough to really destroy the world, just destroying that brick. As Whis would still get a crap ton of food eating all that, and this is when he said, impressive. As all of these 4 Saiyans would say, huh. This is when, out of nowhere, Nappa said, I think it's time. Giving up on his old power, even though he'd had to channel all his strength through the kid, even in Super Saiyan, it wasn't enough. Giving up, saying, if I couldn't help much anyway. Nappa then saying goodbye. Them seeing him as like a grandfather figure saying, "Why are you leaving?" "Yeah, I'm a little bit of too old for this, so, well, I figured it'd be time." Vegeta saying, "I'm sorry to hear that. Goodbye." "Yeah, goodbye." As he got into his original space pod and flew into space. Actually choosing to go grab the Frieza Force and fought them with all his might. The last thing he decided to do was go all the way down to... Last thing he decided to do was go down to this planet where he had actually advised they send Broly to. When he lands there, he sees Paragus recognizing him, yelling, "Broly, attack!" Him saying, as going into Super Saiyan, "Are you sure that'll work?" Actually being able to fight Broly for a few minutes, but then saying, "I guess it's time." As Nappa died, no one knew that he died, though. They were really surprised. Though, before he died, had talked to Tarball. He landed on that planet saying, "Tarball!" Everyone turned their heads seeing him saying, "What the crap?" Them sending Tarball out there to actually see what's going on. Him saying, "Listen, I'm sorry for what happened to you." Apologizing as he left. All this time, just giving the apologies that he needed to give out. Then eventually dying by the hands of Broly. Them trying to actually use that space pod, noting that it wouldn't be anywhere near big enough for them, and they couldn't use any of the parts. As Broly basically slammed a fist into it, them saying whatever. And this made it where the events really won't change much from this point forward. Super Saiyan God was unlocked, perfectly. Super Saiyan Blue, all that. The Ultra Instinct form unlocked, and everything like that when it's canon. In this version, they really wouldn't have the same cast for the Tournament of Power. I'm going to say, instead of Roshi, they would actually have Raditz join. Roshi would say, "I understand. Good luck, kiddos." As he said, giving them one last word of advice. Don't wind up being an old fart like me, leaving them to go, fight the Tournament of Power. That could go somewhat like canon. The only thing that was really a challenge was when they actually had to fight that big dude, with the strongest of the dudes. And by the strongest of them, I do mean Jiren. Jiren put them all in their ass. Every one of them. While in this version, a Blue Evolution Vegeta, a Kaioken Raditz, and an Ultra Instinct Goku would all jump forward to fight. Them all being able to put some hands on him, but never being able to finish the fight. Though they were able to somewhat hurt him. But finishing the fight is impossible. As they basically all had to bull charge him out of there, even with Frieza helping. This being barely enough. Now, if you want Resurrection F, that would basically be the last time they're going to see. That would basically work as the last time they saw Raditz. The last time they saw Nappa, as he had basically said goodbye. After they had defeated Frieza, going to find the rest of the Frieza Force. Now, them offering Frieza to live again, Frieza accepting it, that would go basically as canon. Now, it would also enhance the fact that just about every one of them looked a little bit different. Hold on a second, guys. So yeah, they would really have no use to do the rest of the thing. The Broly movie would go as canon, though. Except for the little fact that Raditz would basically be like, "Oh, I see what's going on." As he actually would go there to actually buy a little bit of time for Goku and Vegeta to fuse. Though they would still have to kind of go. They would actually go to, instead of Piccolo in this version, Piccolo and Raditz, who are training in this version, saying, you need to tap in. Sure. As they were told to fuse all the way up, they'd get enough power. Once they had fused up, they went there to go fight, but this is when they were surprised. They see Broly trying to do his best to swing at Whis, for Whis just to be weaving all of his hits and actually slapping him away. And they see him going and straight up bull charging Frieza, beating the living crap out of him. So they're like, maybe not right now. If Frieza starts to die and, Whis says tap in, says tag in, we will, but not right now. Hold on a second, guys. This is basically the end of the series, though, as the things would go as canon. Goodbye.